Silas, the marvelous producer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Boom Bar. My name is Shola Rogers.
My name is Oladolupo.
You know,
It's just Oladolupo today.
you
Thank
know,
you.
the one and only.
I don't need
I
your
need to quickly do that so we can move on to
I don't need your
more
explanation.
important things. You know,
Excuse me. My name is
More-
very important.
more serious things, more, things.
I'm
So,
not even going to go there.
It's the Boom Bar, your Boom Radio NG, and like we said earlier, the Boom Bar is a 1 hour show on boomradio.com.ng, and what we basically do is kick back, relax, and bring you up to speed on events happening in and around the world, especially from the Nigerian perspective, while we also try to prefer solutions and handle criticisms. These are the things that we do on your Boom Radio NG.
Okay, so this wonderful Thursday afternoon, there's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. It's a very interesting. It's been a very interesting day. First things first. Buhari is in Lagos.
Who is Buhari?
Buhari, now. I'm sure the whole world knows what Buhari is. Anyway,
I don't, so
Yeah,
maybe you
right.
need to educate
Nigerian
me.
President Buhari is in Lagos State.
President Muhammadu Buhari. Is that the one you people are calling Buhari like? You just say Buhari. This world chat.
It's allowed.
This world chat. Let's say Biden.
It's Silas.
Trump.
No, if it's Trump.
These people don't have respect. You say you're supposed to say His Most Excellency,
His royal,
Magistrateness,
his royal,
High-
excellenciness.
His Royal Highnessness,
I see.
His Integral Powerfulness. Just a Buhari like that. What's that? So His Royal Powerfulness, aka Mr. President, is or was in town, because you can't trust those people. Before you know it, they don't fly again.
They're off. At least he was in town today, or it's shy in Lagos.
It was in town.
It's supposed to be
Depending on where you are and
Where you
when you hear this,
was in town.
it was.
As first thing, he went to commission a Seaward defense boat.
Yeah.
That is Nigerian made. It's called NNS Oji.
That's the third one under this administration.
That
It's
the
locally built by the Nigerian Navy
Navy.
Corps. They're doing amazing work,
I think is amazing.
and they're already building number 4 and 5.
Wow.
You know, this is really commendable by the Navy. We know that the Nigerian Army also has a company in Kaduna that's building MRAPs and
Yeah.
mine
It
detectors
would
and
it would
other
really
things.
help. It would really help in cutting down, even if it's cutting down the time frame that they used to import a lot of these things. It's definitely going to
Yeah.
help. It's obviously going to be cheaper if you build it yourself than import it. If it's
Cutting down
just the
cost.
if it's just the cost of the what's that?
It
thing
also
called?
reduces the need for forex.
The
to
need for forex
to
and all that.
import.
Yeah. So kudos
creating
to
more jobs locally,
kudos to the Nigerian Navy.
a faster turnaround time for you to
I think
deploy.
that's amazing.
hardware.
It's worth Mr. President coming to Lagos for something good, but I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, but it's actually it's a good thing.
I'm just going to
Um,
move on. At least it's worth it. There's something to commission.
Yeah. Unlike when he went to Imo State, I know what you're trying to say.
I'm just saying.
And the man said it himself that if he had known, he would have gone. And next time he's going to be sure
What is coming?
before anybody invites him for anything.
Honestly, he's a very busy human being.
Even if he's not busy,
He's the president.
you don't even
For you
understand.
to invite the president,
See.
it has to be something worthy, yeah?
Look, you come and put your name on a road. By coming to commission that road, you have put your name on it, even if it's not named
You're endorsing it. Yeah, you're
after
endorsing it.
you.
Exactly.
Then 3 months after, people are driving on that road and they are cursing you. Not the road where president come commission.
Was there even a road? That's even the first thing.
You know. So again, kudos to the Nigerian Navy for pulling this one off. That's the third Seaward craft that they have constructed in, I think, in about 4 years now.
And
4 years, yeah.
You can imagine if this
Since
had been going
2016.
on for years, if there was actually the opportunity for this to go on
Yeah.
for years. You can imagine the fleet they will have by now.
Yeah, they would have a strong presence, on the waters, especially in combating the issue with
Piracy.
piracy and all of that. You keep hearing about how people. Recently, we talked about some people were arrested for stealing crude and all of that. A lot of them, even non-Nigerians, they found a safe haven.
Yeah, the Gulf of
off the
Guinea is really
off the shores of Nigeria.
yeah, it's really
and all of that.
it's a thing.
It's so bad that the navies from Europe that also are now patrolling that stretch, just basically trying to safeguard, life and property.
Property around
It's
that
an
place.
important part of the maritime world, and of course we can't allow these criminals or bandits.
Criminals.
So kudos to the Nigerian Navy once again.
So also, the president was in town for the book presentation,
Which is the main reason why he came.
Chief Bisi Akandes autobiography, and of course every people that were meant to people for president to be there. What else would you say are doing?
Yeah. Politics aside, of course, but it's all politics. Chief Bisi Akandes is an exemplary person. He's one of those people that you can barely hear any scandal about. And it was those kind of people who have worked with him said it was about service for people like him and his generation, you get. And again, even when he was party leader, he was upright and he was doing his thing and all of that. When he had to step aside, he stepped aside. No issues, no stories. He's still there, giving them advice and support and everything. It's a nice thing. And there's a quote that a lot of media houses have been playing up.
Yeah.
That Mr. President uttered. It goes like this. I can enter the jungle with Bisi Akandes. That Bisi Akandes is someone that President Buhari says he can enter the jungle with. What that also means, if you understand, when it comes to hunting or warfare,
Yeah, the person that has your back.
Yeah, exactly. Someone that has your back, and he says it's someone that completely has his back, and he trusts him 110%, and he can enter the jungle with him and do things. With him.
It must definitely be something for the president to come for your book launch. You definitely has to be some. You can't just it's not just someone that you just you overlook. I'm still talking about the president and the presidency. Yeah, there's been news. There was news a few days ago.
2 days ago, we even mentioned it here.
Yeah, that the president had approved the sack of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company management, and then there was an appointment of an interim management immediately and all that. And there was back and forth because a lot of people were like, okay, are these companies not supposed to be private? And when the conversation came up, I remember saying that for me,
how private are they?
how private are they? I know that, I don't know if it's more than that, but I know on paper, government owns about 40% of these companies. And in the case of maybe the Abuja Electric Distribution Company, the remaining 60% might not be owned by one person, meaning that it's very possible the government still has the largest share as owning 40%, yeah? That was my own thought to it, that maybe that's why. And of course, as the chairman, probably the chairman of the board or anything, they probably have the largest say in it.
So there's a different angle to that story.
Now there's a different angle to the story where the I think the media officer for the president had come out to say that President Buhari did not sack them. According to Garba Shehu, he said that this cannot be true. He said that the privatization of the power sector in 2013 and the management of success had reverted to the new owners, saying that it was totally out of place and inconceivable that President Buhari would be linked to the management of a private organization, let alone sacking it. Now, but I remember this was a statement from a media officer from the Minister of State for Power or some.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, actually.
So you can say it was an official statement.
It was, but it is clearly another case of a lack of synergy between government and government agencies. It is clear, you know. It's like break. Let's take it further down to maybe the state level, and a commissioner's PR person or media officer announces that the governor has approved something. Then the governor's assistant comes to say no, the governor did not. They both work for the same government, belong to the same party, and all of that. It's a clear
aren't
case
you
of,
like, see?
It's not the first time in this particular administration.
I get it.
That they are not in sync.
I'm even saying
with
that.
Information dissemination.
Why aren't you far down the media aid that we got the story from? Aren't you far down the line for you to jump the gun?
Isn't he also empowered to release stories that concern his principal? Do you understand? I think it just has to do with synergy. It has to do with being in sync and all of that. Trying to understand what your point is very, very clear.
Like,
try to
coming
understand
down
that when
the
he
situation,
involves anything that you think involves the president or vice president or someone,
why not maybe
higher up
confirm
than your principal? There's a way to pass out that information that it doesn't necessarily have to come from you. Let me paint a scenario for you. Kudos to the Nigerian Football Federation for creating a system. So for every football team that they manage, from the under 13 to the Super Eagles, from the Falconets to the Super Falcons and all the teams in between, they all have media officers. So before, the media officers will release stories, release pictures, release information. You get, which was good in a way, because for as a media person, it was content.
It's a lot of content at every point in time.
Access to them and all. But they created a system now that I like. All of those media officers have to revert to the head of that unit, which is Demola Olajire. So he's the one that eventually releases the press statement.
So that everybody, there's
they
just one statement.
They are written by different people, but it comes through that one channel. You get. So even if something goes wrong, before you get to the media officer, at least they have a head of unit
that it should have passed.
Like the disgusting statement that was written by the media officer of the Falcons, basically criticizing during the Aisha Buhari Cup.
Yeah,
you wrote a statement more or less like a stinker against your own
players. Yeah,
which I felt that the head of their unit should have not released or edited. But this shows where the buck.
But the truth is, so when it comes to the
in
government
and
like the federal government,
as long as it involves the president, you should
at least defer to
the presidency.
To the presidency first. And
if you notice, in the case of the presidency, the vice president's assistants are all employed by the president.
By the president, yes.
You get, so when there's a power tussle, if there is going to be one, they know that they have to defer to the people who are ahead of them. Even if the vice president has brought in his own people to say, I want this person
but he's always special advisor to the president at the end of the day.
That's what it is.
I get what you're saying. And now, we now have a clearer picture with what is happening with the AEDC, which is why the media officer that brought out our statement also shows that you're kind of clueless with the ministry that you work for. Because if you don't know the workings of what happens with power in Nigeria, what's the point of you being at least you should be to a large extent informed. At least you should know that it's not in the president's purview. That's to start with. So there's some statements that whether you even defer or not, there's some things that shouldn't come out. It kind of shows off as you're being ignorant. That's one. Now, the issue now is with the issue of the management changing, and the real story is that the United Bank of Africa (UBA) has officially taken over the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company as the owner of the company. Can Consortium, its failure to service its debt to the UBA. Can Consortium had actually secured a $122 million loan from the UBA to acquire AEDC in 2013, owning 60%. But in the last 7 years, the debtor has been unable to pay, leading to a dispute between UBA and CAN.
7 years.
And in a bid to recover its fund, the lender triggered a takeover of the 60% stake. The change in the management definitely happened.
But it was not the way the earlier story that broke. It wasn't supposed to have been portrayed.
So that's my point. Like you should know the inner workings of you should know who owns what.
But you know the funny thing, if I was involved in this government, I would have gone back to the same guy to tell him to go and explain. Do you know how difficult it is?
Yeah,
but that would have been the best way. You get
that. I won't be surprised if he does not have a job anymore. So he's probably
I hope he does have a job, because people like him, they would have garnered some experience and they can only get better. I hope he doesn't lose his job. But what I'm saying is that the best.
But this is enough for you to lose your job, actually.
Well, it depends on the way people look at things, But the best way to remedy it is to tell him to go and announce the clarity or the clarification as it concerns.
At least your name was on the first one.
Ownership structure of the Abuja Electric Distribution Company. The part that when you were reading that story, the part that got to me is how they're owing for 7 years. How are you owing for 7 years? You understand?
When you decided to take up the company, what was your plan? Didn't you have a payment plan in place?
The commodity that they sell is highly priced and highly in demand.
And I know that. I think I remember there was a time where there were about four. There are four actually. Kogi State. Okay, Abuja is not a state. Yeah. So, but I know that there was a time where they were talking about how they have one of the most expensive tariffs.
Okay, so look at it.
So what's happening?
Your tariff being expensive, sir, I'm not going to bust you on it because maybe the way you acquire your own power is different from other people. I won't bust you on that. I'm saying that, it looks like a missed opportunity. While a lot of entrepreneurs and business people are looking for angel investors and grants and funds to scale up their business. You
get it on a platter and then
you get a loan in a business that is viable. You understand? We still look at other people that need to do a hard sell when they want to put out their stuff. An item that not everybody needs. It's difficult to sell. But electricity
is what everybody
for 3 states in this country, including the federal
capital territory. That's a lot.
So I think there's been some kind of mismanagement there or something. Because what's it going to be?
Because about in 7 years, are you saying that in 7 years you're so seriously? What kind of mismanagement?
Were not selling power.
They were not selling power to you, no, or you were not getting paid when you give people power.
Then if that's the case, you can always renegotiate your loan. Because if it's about sincerity of purpose.
I'm not even sure that
if
there's
you-
even service in this loan at all.
if you show the bank your books and,
Your
and tell them,
books.
look, this is what's going on. Even the banks might be able to say, you know what, okay, let's come in there, let's help you recover some of this debts and stuff and all. But it's a missed opportunity, and this is sad though. But as long as the people that the AEDC is servicing are getting power again, as against what happened on Monday, as long as their staff are getting paid and their welfare is taken care of, it's for the greater good.
It's for the greater good. Whoever owns it, as long as people are getting paid. Okay, so moving off that, yeah, and we're going to New Zealand for a little bit. I don't know if you saw the story, but New Zealand's government has said that they're looking at banning smoking, putting a lifetime ban on smoking, so that's to help the youth to stop smoking.
Yeah, I saw that story yesterday. I think it broke yesterday or so, and I actually didn't really research or read it. But the thing is, it's a changing world. A lot of things are different now. If they can pull it off, yeah.
So they're saying
that's like sounding the death knell for an entire industry. But this industry, what good has it really done?
exactly. It's a but when you talk about business people, all business people will tell you that when it's jobs that have been lost is a whole part.
What about the effect of smoking and the pressure it brings to bear on the health?
It's
on
funny,
the health
yeah,
sector?
because they're saying that the new law, the government, they plan to pass next year. There's a minimum age to buy cigarettes, and it will keep rising year after year. They're saying it to get to a point that you have to be at least 80. Not that they won't be selling cigarettes. You have to be at least 80 years old, or prove that you're 80 years old to buy a cigarette.
That's a small thing. That's a new line of business for some people, because basically, guys, think about it too. I'm giving you people free business idea now. If you're in New Zealand,
Once you're old now,
just get an 80-year-old person who's really 80-year-old and strike a deal. And once the person buys the cigarette, you can put your own on top and resell. You understand? Please don't do this. But I know that some people will.
oh, of course.
That's
oh,
how
of
you
course.
now see a long queue of 80-year-old people buying cigarettes. None of them will smoke. But I think the manufacturers of cigarettes too should have started looking at divesting their businesses and all of that. The world should move away from this particular hill. This thing is not that fantastic. I don't know, Sha.
Okay, so from there, let's come back to Borno State, where I saw a story this morning which I'm not sure, maybe I need a bit more explanation about it. As the governor of Borno State, which, for people that do not know,
That's the governor of the year.
that's the
Man.
governor of the year.
Always
for-
governor of the year. Zulum.
he's the governor of the year for me.
Professor Zulum.
But he has actually made a pronouncement today, which is very interesting, that he has said that, I'm quoting verbatim, that no partner organization, either local, national, or international, shall henceforth be allowed to embark on distribution of food and non-food items into any of our newly resettled communities across the state.
Okay, so
Basically, he has banned NGOs from
operating
there.
there. Okay, so what's your issue? Let's talk about your issue with this.
I need an explanation for this kind of thing, because we know
so
that
this is it.
there's food crisis, and you see when people want to give you free stuff. So what's the problem?
This is it. Well, I cannot say it authoritatively, but there was a time that the Nigerian military and Nigerian security forces actually said they didn't want to see NGOs in that area anymore. Some of them are believed to be working for people who do not have the best interest of Nigeria at heart. and they believe that they are undermining the efforts of the security forces to secure the northeast.
So according,
That's one.
yeah,
I know you're going to read, but let me just tell you
Yeah.
what I know. Two, the governor of Borno has now built a lot of houses, and they're shutting down their
IDP camps.
the IDP camps, and they're shutting it down. The ones that they have already commenced the shutdown, every single individual, adult, has been given money. Husbands were given, I think, 150,000 each, or 100,000 or so, with food items and other things to give them a soft landing. While the wives were given, I think, 80 to 100,000 also. You know, the children were given provisions. A lot of things that he has done, and he's asking them to go stay in their houses and everything because they're shutting down the IDP camps, so that by next year there will virtually be no more IDPs in that state. But in creating that kind of scenario, when you start to say you want to donate this and donate that, it's more or less like encouraging the IDP camps to still be in operation.
According to him, it's saying that it is to wean people off humanitarian food distribution and instead replace it with empowering people and giving them the dignity to buy their food and determine their future.
Which is what he has done already. Like, that tallies with the little
like
knowledge
give people a reason to work and all that. You
Yeah.
can't just be
they've given them money, they've given them seeds and things to go and plant for the farmers.
But
Basically,
also
what he has
now
done is empowerment.
I get it with the empowerment, but it also means that when you send people out of those places and it means that you're assuring them that it will be secure.
Yes, you are, because for instance, the recent attack that they suffered a few days ago, it was shocking for them because the military had really done a lot of work and a lot of
there.
things in there. You know, the estate that was bombed, that's the one I'm talking about. But the assailants, the bandits, actually used mortars, which of course they could fire from a distance, not like they gained access into the estate or through the roads. So he was actually shocked too, and he was asking them how they allowed them to have even that kind of access to that estate. And of course, immediately the military responded and smoked a few of those guys out and all of that. So I get where he's coming from, because Governor Zulum has been hands-on when it comes to governance. I have never seen in recent history any Nigerian politician or governor that has been hands-on and has been result-driven
as much as
Professor
this.
Zulu.
And with the kind of insecurity, with the kind of impediment they have in that state, and you still see the amount of improvement, the amount of infrastructural development that still happens.
Compare the kind of structures that they are building in Borno to states in the south. I'm not going to say southeast or south or southwest, but states in the south that don't have insurgency issues. You know, recently the governor of Yobe commissioned some primary health care centers. He's building about 180. And when I saw the physical structures, I looked at it. I said,
what are we doing in the south? Like, what are we doing?
About 180 primary health care centers. They've already built 135.
Wow.
So, these guys are exposing politicians.
Well, they really do.
Because by the next election, it's your report card that we want to see.
We want to see.
That your mate in Borno,
that has so many issues to deal with.
Look at what he has achieved. Look at Nasir El-Rufai and what he's doing in Kaduna.
In Kaduna, even with the...
It's amazing the level of infrastructural development that Kaduna is witnessing. Even the people that don't like him, they are forced to commend him. Because, look, I've seen like 3 new bridges that have been built there, because I'm really monitoring Kaduna. I have a special interest in Kaduna. I'm really monitoring Kaduna a lot, and I'm like, wow. And someone tweeted something and said, to show you how amazing El-Rufai has been and the level of work he has done, can someone even mention who the former governor was, the immediate past governor? I actually cracked my head.
Like, okay, that's true. Who's the
Past governor. Didn't mention anybody.
Oh God, it's very, very, very funny. I'm talking about Yobese. Yeah, I talked about Yobese. The troops of the military troops of Operation Hadin Kai had rescued 20 Nigerian police force personnel abducted by terrorists.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. Only on today's Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday, following the attack on that Abuja road and everything, the response of the Nigerian Air Force was massive. So they actually deployed some of the Tucanos along that road, and they smoked a couple of these bandits. And of course, then the Nigerian army went in for a mop-up, and they got a couple of these criminals. You know, can't use some of those language on air, so but actually they just got them. So Operation Hadin Kai, you know, and the operatives have really spread.
They're really.
Then again, the civilian JTF now did a follow-up in that axis, and you know they were able to also do some mop-up and everything. So in Yobe, they have experienced a lot of insurgency. Don't laugh at the fact that the army had to come and rescue the police.
Oh,
you don't know. You don't know
they're
how
doing
bad
a lot.
it is.
They're doing a lot.
These criminals, a lot of them from outside Nigeria, some locally,
yeah.
you know, trained and sourced. But bottom line is that some of them think it's a business. So the idea is that they are going to make money from being criminals. We must say kudos to the civilian JTF. We must say kudos to the men of the Nigerian military, the entire military apparatus, all of them, everybody involved, from the Air Force to the Army, even the Navy. You know,
they're doing
the DSS, the police.
Everybody's
they're doing amazing.
They're doing amazing,
especially the civilian JTF. I, of course, really like to say that they've done a lot. So in rescuing those policemen, it's a big deal because these are people's parents. This is someone's brother, someone's sister, and all of that. You know, but you know, it's not as easy as people make it look, but it's getting better. It's getting better.
Okay, so move on. Let's move on from that and talk a little bit about COVID. Yeah, there's a lot of stories from COVID. First things first. Let's say in Lagos State. Remember there was last week where the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-olu, had said that there was going to be a peace walk, and he was inviting Lagosians for a peace walk, and there was a lot of talk back and forth, about it. Now, he has suspended the peace walk on grounds of the Omicron COVID-19 variant. Was there even supposed to be a walk
So,
at all?
Dolupo, I don't know how you guys want to do it, but as soon as possible, we need a screen here that we can play back some of our episodes. So when you bring up a story like this, we'll just
see,
play
I said
back.
it.
Then you'll see what we said. Then we'll move to the next story. But because that screen does not exist, let us mirror.
What
ourselves.
happened last week? Yeah,
We said it emphatically that there is no need for a peace walk. Without the peace walk, if you do not do the work, there will be no peace.
there's no point. There's no point.
It's not about walking, it's about working. You work, or as my brothers will say,
Work.
they work.
Do the work.
So, Mr. Governor, we also said it here that did you consider the current case of social distancing? How do you plan to manage it? If we say, oh, people don't want to walk with the governor, but a lot of people now decide to come walk with them. Did you consider how you were going to manage that? We said all of these things. I think it's embarrassing that you're now canceling a walk that you said was important. So, again, politicians need to learn how to stop playing to the gallery.
Like, we should be calming down.
Calm down. You have done the right thing by instituting a panel. You have released your white paper.
You have
Then
said once you will do, you have
The
said
one
what
you want
will
to
not
push
do.
to federal, push to
Push
federal.
to federal.
The one that your state
Can
has the
deal
power
with.
to do.
Then let's move
sincerely,
on.
You do it and you move on. There's no need for any
There's no
work.
need for any
We
work
said
in
it
the
here.
first place. I agree.
I know that later, LASSO students, a lot of people say they will join. They don't need to. There's no need for a walk.
There's no need.
We don't need a walk for peace to have peace. We need you to create an environment that is peaceful. A structure, the kind of structures that Lagos has been known for when it comes to security, welfare, and other things. So, Mr. Governor, counseling the work is like
There was-
it's like, let me use the Yoruba way of saying egg on your face. Uncle, you didn't even
You
have
didn't
do
have
that.
to start it at
You
all.
didn't need that walk in the first place. But of course,
Okay.
a lot of people don't want to hear this, but we have to say it.
So now, still talking about COVID, yeah, the National Primary Health Care Development Agency has disclosed that they will start administering the booster dose of the COVID-19 tomorrow. Please, when are we going to go and collect these booster doses?
Maybe we should do Monday. I don't know if there'll be a surge, or maybe we'll do Saturday. If they're going to work on Saturday, we need to find out. You know, we already have double vaxxed. You know, we're double vaxxed, which means we've collected both jabs of our. I think it was AstraZeneca that we got, right? I'll go and look for my card, and I'll look for where we went to get it before. We'll go back
Yeah,
there
go back there
and get a
and
booster shot.
Get a booster shot. It's
I don't have a problem with this. I love this. There's something that Liverpool living legend Mo Salah, because I call him a living legend. He's an amazing baller. Said yesterday. He said that the experts have spoken on the importance of being vaccinated and observing all the safety protocols. He said that. He said, wouldn't it be funny if someone comes off the street and tries to tell him how to play football? That he will look at the person like, you don't know what you're saying.
You don't know what
I'm
you're
the
saying.
expert in this.
Exactly.
He said, so him is a footballer.
And that's what he knows.
And nobody, a person that doesn't know about football cannot come and tell him how to play football. So the same way he cannot tell doctors and the experts in the medical field how to run this.
it.
So
I get
let's listen to them and do what they say. And I like it when he said that, you know, and that's what we're saying too.
That's what we're saying. We need to.
You
People
know,
we need to be coming down to
get
deal
double
that. Let's
vax,
just.
get your jabs. You know, it's so bad.
And
that
you know, it's funny how
we allowed a million
doses. That's what I was gonna say.
To
Just
waste.
because people did not. Well, there's so much vaccine apathy right here, and because we deal with so much superstition and so much. It's a very sentimental thing. And talking about vaccines, today now, the Nigeria has now welcomed the arrival of another 2.5 million Pfizer vaccines given by the United States government.
Thank you, United States government.
But that's the thing.
But
These people should go and collect this thing.
Vaccinated.
What's the point of see how
Please.
a whole million, which would have vaccinated at least 500,000 people?
Please go get vaccinated. Please.
It's a very, very sad thing, yeah. And let's move on to court. There's a story that I my own quick question. Anyway, let me just ask. A federal high court in Abuja today has ordered the Inspector General of Police to allow detained founder of Oduduwa University, Ramon Adegoke, access to quality medical facility of his choice. Remember the man that the MBA student that was found dead a few days after
in Ife
and all that, and then the owner of the hotel and his staff were arrested. About last week, I think they were denied bail.
Yeah.
And my question is that, why is it that when you are in your house, eating chicken, you are alive and well, you are fine. The minute there is a problem, or then they now decide to do some very humanly, or would I say I don't even know the English to use. Well, they commit a crime, yeah, and then they're remanded in jail. The next thing, you suddenly fall ill. It's like it's a thing with the Nigerian criminals or alleged criminals. Don't put it like that. You're always falling ill.
You know what I think about that is, I think you're just being naughty. Or is this
I'm
a real
not.
question?
It's actually a question. You know, you've not noticed the trend. Everybody that is maybe mostly up there or some prominent person, they always fall ill.
This is my take on it. When you're done with the boom bar, where are you going? What are you doing?
Working.
No, it's not about working. When you leave this chair that you're sitting in, where are you going?
The office.
The office. You're going to leave the studio and go to the office.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to stop you from going to the
No.
office? And when you're in the office, you feel like going out. Is anybody going to stop you?
No.
You want to eat anything today? Can you eat it?
Yes.
You want to buy anything today? Can you buy it? You want to go anywhere? Can you go?
Yeah.
So picture all of those yeses saying being no. Picture you being stuck in this studio, no windows, nothing, and no AC. Picture how that is going to impact on your mental health.
Okay, so
I'm not making excuses
it's
for
the
them.
mental health that is wrong.
It is real that a lot of people would take ill because, one, they didn't see it coming. Two, when they find themselves in that situation, they don't have the mental capacity to adapt to
And
that
then
situation.
do not your mental capacity. If you know your mental capacity cannot take prison. See, I get what you're saying, and I get it, because someone like me, I'm too restless for my mental capacity to take prison. Let me give you a typical example. NYSC camp. To a large extent, there is freedom, but you can't go outside. Then there was a day I wanted to do something. I think I can take a picture or take a passport photograph or something. And the people that take it is close to the main gate, yeah? The gate was wide open, but I was not allowed to step out. Do you understand? And I was walking, and I literally just started crying. I couldn't understand. And then the person beside me, I was wrong with him, like, you literally see freedom. Like, this is... So I get it that...
Do you?
But my mental capacity cannot take being put in one place. So
night,
I will not commit crime.
At night, Tolupo, when you want to sleep, do you turn off the light or do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
So picture a scenario where you don't have those options or those choices. So it's actually not just people pretending. It really just happened to a lot of people who find themselves in these situations. I remember the former Egyptian ruler who was arrested. At some point, he was brought to court in a wheelchair, or I think it was in his hospital bed or something. It does really happen, because again, the ability to go out and move around is some form of exercise. You're deprived of that, and it's all your underlying issues.
Underlying issues. So if you know you have underlying issues, that's my own, and you cannot cope with some things, do not commit crime.
Do not even commit crime at all. You get
that's
but
it.
A lot of people do things with the mind that they would always get away with it, crime or not, business or whatever it is. You understand? So it's not a good thing. It's not me making excuses. It's me being real and saying, when you find yourself in that situation, you start to understand why it happens. A few years ago, when we started the Boom Bar, remember we didn't have chairs. Our table was higher, and we would stand.
Yeah.
We didn't have chairs. Then, at some point, the facility that we were using then, they stopped giving us power for our AC. And we would run a whole 1 hour, sweating and still doing a whole 1 hour program. But maybe if you were invited to another place that it was not your own place, you would have complained. You'd have said, no, I can't do this kind of program. And But because you know it's your thing, you're a stakeholder, and you were building something, you put in the work. Today we can kick back and swivel on our chairs. We have cameras, real cameras. We have our phones streaming. There's internet 24/7 because we have skilled. You get. So, but think of when we didn't have that power. Now think of when you are now prevented from
having those things,
even when you have it. You know. So a lot of these guys, they're not pretending. It just messes up their system. But it's actually a good thing to deter people from committing crime.
That's the thing. Don't commit crime. Someone has died in this whole matter now. So we hope that there is more information about that case, and that case is not just swept under the rug. And moving all the way from that. Sorry, I'm just going back and forth today.
No, it's allowed, actually.
As the University of Oxford has said that they've discovered about 145 objects that were originally taken by the British troops during a military raid on Benin City that are most likely going to be returned very soon.
Most likely?
They're going to be returned. Let me put it.
Please remove most likely.
They are planning to return these items very, very soon. I think the Benin
I read over and when Nugbaisi.
Kingdom is going to be a very, very rich one very soon.
It depends on how they manage it. I read Over and When Nugbaisi by Ola Rotimi. Still remains one of my favorite books of all time. I even played a role when we were in secondary school. I was given the role of Oloboshe when we were reenacting it. Although we did not act it, we just read it, and I loved it. I loved it. I'm glad that the Western world has come to a realization that they can't keep
things that are not yours. You can't just continue. We can't continue like that.
During the Black Lives Matter movement that spread to the whole world, people were bringing down statues that were offensive, and at that point, I saw a paradigm shift. No matter how small, it was symbolic. Now we're at the point where there's some form of reparation when it comes to, at least, even if we don't pay you for services rendered, let us give you your property back. So take your properties, everything that we've taken, take it back. Because if you reverse the roles, how is it possible for Africans now to just storm a city in France?
Mm-hmm.
The Nigerian army storms one European city
as what? And
enters their museums and their palaces and takes oh God, that's stealing now. It's stealing. So if you say you discover something that was stolen,
I actually
respect you guys for returning.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that.
Those things were stolen. Let's not sugarcoat it. They belong to the Benin Kingdom. They were stolen, and thank you for returning them or planning to return them.
To return it.
And the ones who have not honed up, may you quickly hone up.
Okay. There's somebody that so it's news here, and is Aboki's friend. He's in the news again. We've not heard him in the news for a while, and this is Sheikh Ahmed Gumi. Is in the news this time, and he's saying that he will no longer interface with bandits until the political situation changes. This was his reaction to the Federal High Court in Abuja declaring bandits as terrorists.
If the bandits have been declared as terrorists, their spokesman, their PR man, their mouthpiece.
As he said, according to him,
that's all I'm going to say.
He said, since the federal government has declared them terrorists, I have nothing to do with them.
The federal government did not declare them. The courts rightfully designated them as who they are.
He said, I would not like to expose myself to danger again and put a spotlight on myself unnecessarily. I've tried all I could to admonish the nation on the best way to do it, but it seems my advice has fallen on deaf ears.
No, we're not the ones with deaf ears. You are, Mr. Kumi.
Okay.
You're the one.
Whether they change them,
You're the one that's trying to turn logic on its head. You're the one that's trying to make us believe that people who come into our country, come into our space, take up arms against us and kill innocent people should be treated with kid gloves. My question still remains: how are you still walking free?
how? Do you understand? Like, according to
The
him,
only reason why you are back down now, Oga Mr. Gumi,
is because
you know now that they have said that your people are terrorists, which means you are a
the
terrorist.
minute you
are
have
a
anything
terrorist
to do with them,
apologist.
exactly. The minute it's seen
And
that you have anything
by
to do with them,
extension,
you are officially
a terrorist.
yes.
It's the
I think
Nigerian law that said
it's that's what it is. It's just
why
like,
are we even talking about you? Can we talk about something else, please? The guy they vex me.
okay, still talking about security. Yeah, Ondo State commander of the Amoteku Corps. The Amoteku Corps is the state security apparatus that the Southwest has. He has now said that they're going to there's them unpermitted tainted glasses are prohibited. Unregistered vehicles, you cannot drive unregistered vehicles in Ondo State anymore. They're saying that there are reports that bandits and criminals are planning to strike on some black spots in Ondo State, Ekiti State, and Ondo State.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I still know I need to know the position of the Nigerian Army on tinted glasses. One moment they tell you need a permit, the next moment they tell you don't. It's confusing actually. It would be nice if we could get one of the
What's the
top police PR people to come and explain this to
us
and to the people. But kudos to Amotekun. Like I said, kudos to the civilian JTF in the Northeast. There's nothing different that they are doing that these guys are not doing too. So, which also we shouldn't try to politicize. At some point,
at the end of the day, they really just need
we realize that we need to support the police,
support everybody,
support the military, because we are under policed and the personnel, they're not enough.
and these people are here to help us. It's not a bad idea to take their help as much as we can. And moving on from that, still talking about security, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the NSCDC, had intercepted a tanker laden with about 36,000 liters of adulterated diesel in Anambra State.
It's not enough that
how and why
that you are moving without a license to transport crude or byproducts of crude, which is diesel. You are now even adulterating it. You know, just picture how, for instance, they dispense 36,000 liters in a filling station. The number of people who will buy, and the number of generators and cars that will get damaged, because diesel, a lot of trucks run on diesel, a lot of generators run on diesel. This is sad, but the thing is, when you arrest these people, what are you doing to stop them from doing it again? That's the real question, and that's what I hope they do something about. But kudos to the NSCDC for intercepting
this thing, yeah. And finally, before we go, Facebook, there's news with Facebook now, as Facebook has said Nigerians will start paying 7.5% value-added tax on all ad placements from January 1, 2022.
So apparently the new financial
Yep.
the new financial bill.
That financial bill is not funny. I think we actually need to break it down, and
it's gonna be a plus for the Nigerian government, but it's gonna cost
a lot. That I was reading today that there are about 110 million bank accounts that are going to have issues when this finance bill comes into play. It's talking about how everybody is supposed to have a tax card and a tax identification number, which there's a large chunk of people that do not have. There's to register your company, the FIRS to deregister your company. You have to. There's a lot. I think for me, the finance bill is, like you said, from the angle of the government, is more monitoring for them. It's more money. is people getting to pay tax and all that. But my issue is even that. Can we like merge a lot of these numbers? We have BVN. You already have your account number. You have BVN. You have NIN. Now they're asking you that you're going to add TIN on top one bank account. How now?
Well, the idea is that to make sure that more people pay taxes at the end of the day. Some of us that don't even earn an income or irregular income, we still have to evaluate ourselves and pay taxes and all of that. Then again, it's time that I know government is really trying to clamp down on a lot of corporate bodies who are supposed to pay
that
and they don't.
cut corners and
they
all
look
that.
for different loopholes and stuff around it. But the 7.5% VAT that they're going to be paying on it's going to be on Facebook and Instagram for every advert that you pay for on those platforms. The federal government will be getting 7.5%.
Is that also not
why they've done that is that it's a new strata, a new vista for income for the federal government, and they're going to do it across board. It's going to be with Twitter.
That was what I was going to say. That isn't that just
every e-commerce platform or any e-commerce platform that's substantial and also is also doing business out of Nigeria.
Out of Nigeria.
So if you like, go and put your regional headquarters in Ghana or anywhere you want to put it. Good luck to you.
As
the
long
Nigerian
as
government is saying that they're going to make sure that they get that. The only thing I feel is that they're passing the buck to people like you and me,
because
we
of
are
course
the ones that will bear the brunt of this, because we're the ones that are paying. Facebook is not going to reduce the cost of their adverts. If, for instance, you want to do a $10 advert now,
they're going to add the 7.5.
7.5% of $10 is going to be charged. Not because Facebook wants to take the money, but they have to pay the government. So who's paying it? It's you. At the end of the day, you are the one that will pay that money. You know, you're the one that's going to pay that money. And if you are a person who retails or who sells and everything, or is advertising a service or business, what you're going to do is that you're passing that cost to your client. So for the first 3 months, there's going to be a lot of confusion and issues. After a while, people will settle down and look at it as a simple thing and pass the buck to the buyers.
Buyers is the end consumer that ends up paying.
We all know.
Everybody gets
who's
to pay.
Going to bear the brunt.
So that is all we'll be able to take today on the Boom Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with another wonderful edition of the Bar, where you can catch a repeat of this at 7 p.m. West African time.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, till tomorrow, is peace.